Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in Historic running the Lord of the Rings, and our big upgrade from the previous version of this deck is we are using Call of the Ring. Because I, like a fool, thought this was Phyrexian Arena and only triggered in your upkeep, but no. If you'll notice, it's 1 in the black for a enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. That ability is not contingent on the upkeep trigger. So, in our deck, where we're designed to grab millions of ring activations to try and cheese some other creatures, this is amazing. So, we are still running our base package of Frodo, Bilbo, trying to score as many ring activations as we can to score with the abilities of Smeagol and Galadriel. Aside from that, we're running Flame of Andor. I do need to craft another one of these eventually because we're running a Prismatic Command to fill the gap. Full playset of Vanishing Verse, Bind to Secrecy for the counter spell, Tyrant Scorn for removal, Assemble the Team as a dig spell, Rip Apart as good all-round removal, and Growth Spiral, and of course our Niv Mizzets. Sideboard, we have our anti-control package of the Vetoes, Fracture for the Artifact Enchantment decks, 1 Aragon, because I still want this card to be good, 2 Assassin's Trophy for good answers, 3 Helix for aggro matchups, and 3 Cosmic Rebirths for control heavy matchups and removal, because these cards buy back every key piece of our deck that we're trying to do here, even Call of the Ring. That's the deck, so let's jump to the matches. First match here, we're going into the casual queues to draw out this deck for fun. Pretty solid hand here. We can get a turn free Smeagol, depends what we're up against. A lot of tap lands, and blue-white with a Teferi logo, followed by Soul of the Storm Giants. Yes, this is pretty much control, so we're just going to grind it out here and hope that our unusual choice of cards is going to be enough for them. We've got a lot of reading going on here. They changed the equation to stop the Frodo, so we'll just throw another tap land down. They go for Memory Deluge tapped out here, so we'll see what our best option is. They grab 2 cards. Play a tap land and we'll pro Bilbo in, because if Bilbo dies or is removed, we can still get level 2 of the ring and activate the looting ability. They're up to 5 mana, which is scary for a control deck. They're still reading because obviously they're probably not used to these cards. Soul Partition, we get the ring up to level 2, but we can recast Bilbo later. Shocking the Watery Grave. I think it's more important here to hold up the bind to secrecy. So we'll run out Smeagol. I'll put on Fragments Reality. This will grab a Frodo because he's the only 2 mana creature in our deck, which is great for us. We'll get another attempt on him. We're up to level 3 now. Put him good up to 6 mana. Cast a Dream Trawler. So now we're in a race to win here. Growth Spiral to draw and dump another land. Thin out our deck with the Fabled Passage. A fully activated ring might be quick enough to get us there. The real way to deal with Dream Troll if we can't find our board wipe is we've got to pressure them to activate the second ability. So let's attack. Draw another Frodo. We'll discard that. They realize they can't block Frodo. So we take 3. We're going to tap 5 here for Bilbo, because we can still hold up the counterspell here. We'll get Frodo up to level 4 ring. Probably should have done that before combat. Their Dream Caller. Play a land. Go to combat. Dream Trawler goes up to 5. Lifelink will be an issue in this match. They try for Teferi. We'll bind to Society, see if they have a counter. They don't, which is good for us. Another Bilbo is not the greatest, so we'll just go straight to combat here. Attack in, loot away, throw away land. You can make a treasure with Bilbo, drain him for 4. We're going to have to put Yorion into hand here and just cast Yorion. Blink lands here. Sorry, not the lands, blink our Hobbits. We go up to, well, we're already max ring here. There's pretty much no reason to blink here other than I just like using the ring trigger. Our opponent goes into combat, draws They're up to a 5/5 lifelink again. We go down to 8. They play a Shock Typhoon. Shocking the land, so they clearly have a spell. But we find a Niv off the top, which is great for us. So we'll go to combat here and try to force something out of them. We'll discard our second Bilbo. That's not an insignificant amount of damage. We do take him down for 10. I'm going to use Rip Apart to take out the Shock Typhoon, see if I can bait the Cam spell. This makes me think there might not be anything, so we're going to try for Niv Miss it, see if it resolves. Which it does.
Reload!
We find a good slew of spells here. We keep Frodo as our ring bearer. Our opponent goes to combat and tries to kill us here. So, first things first, they activate a card I do not know. Calm Dijin, that lets them tap our creature. I'm trying to read all of its abilities. So what we do here, we wait until they activate the Hall of the Storm Giants to go for lethal. So in response, we'll target Dreamtrawler, force them to activate its second ability, which can give it hexproof to save it, but as a cost you have to discard a card and tap the creature. After some consideration, they finally tap it out. They hit us with the Storm Giants, putting us down to 1. And I think they think they're safe here, except we have lethal with the ring activation. So because I'm just playing this deck and I love it, I want to activate this as much as possible, so we're just going to steal some of their lands, as many as we can. So we're going to use Gladriel to get some of our lands as well. Keep Frodo as the ring bearer. 2 Storm Giant Halls, scry free, Coiling Oracle, well, her activation to scry the first land into play. We're going to flex with a second Frodo. Legend rule them, see each other enter, steal more lands off them. This is completely unnecessary, but I just really wanted to pull this off because this was my first time playing, and a tapped out control player should be punished. So we end this turn killing them with an insane amount of value on the field. I'm going to discard the Call of the Ring here and watch this. 1 life, however thankfully the ring's activation at level 4 drains them to dead. Alright, control matchup. So Vetoes in, Assassin's Trophy in, Cosmic Rebirths in. Colligan's Command is not really going to do anything here. We'll take out a Prismari command. Take out the Ripper parts, and ultimately we've got to take out the Assemble the Team, because as good as that card is, we need threats in our hand to resolve. And this hand is pure troll and I love it, so we're going to keep it. Frodo triplets, and now we have a Bilbo. So let's go all the way with our Hobbits. And Niv off the top is fantastic, so Frodo, give him the ring on level 1. Shock in, we'll play Bilbo here. I'm expecting them to build to a board wipe. The Archmage's Charm to draw cards, which is interesting, because now we can level up to level 3 ring. Draw a card. I'm actually going to discard the Supreme Verdict, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're digging for. They go for a Memory Deluge. Now, the interesting thing here, because they don't know about, or they're not recognizing Bilbo's ability, is that what we can do, I choose to ultimately go for 4 mana here. I want Bilbo level 4. We draw a Call of the Ring, which is fantastic. So, now we draw, loot away a Growth Spiral, hit, make a treasure. We could have gone for Niv here, but I want to try out the ring's abilities. So our opponent is on 14 here. I'm expecting a board wipe, particularly now that they've tapped down to 4 mana. They don't do anything though. So what we'll do is we'll tempt the ring, make Frodo, draw some cards. Go to combat. Our opponent soul partitions the Frodo. We'll hit him with Bilbo. make a treasure, play the ziggurat tapped, and we'll front out another Frodo here. We'll keep the other one in exile for later if we want it. We're going to make Bilbo the ring bearer, because even if they answer him, he still gives us a tempt, so we can then move it to another creature. That's the real strength of his ability. They went out a Dream Trawler here. This is great for us, so we will keep Bilbo as the owner of the ring. Draw a card with 2 life, play a land. Since they're tapped out, we're going to run out our Niv. Frodo will trigger again. We're going to take the Assassin's Trophy because we need answers for this. Well, we don't need answers, we need ways to tap it down to keep it going. We're on 10 life from drawing from the ring. We'll get in with Bilbo here. Throw away Galadriel because we've got 2. Knock them down to 9. Make another treasure. So we're going to use the same trick again here. Beginning of combat, we're going to try to force them to activate the Dream Trawler's tap ability to keep them alive. They use Otawara to bounce Niv back to our hands. They play a tap land, go for combat, so in response we'll use Assassin's Trophy. And in response our opponent taps their Dream Trawler and passes back to us. We'll draw off the ring. We have enough, we'll get shocked here too as well. Go to combat and attack. Our opponent just concedes to that, and we took him down with 2 Hobbits, which is absolutely crazy. Second match of this video, we have Delta Pine. This opponent, I would like to remind you here, this is a ×2 replay. Excuse me. What I've done is I've sped up the video ×2 and doing post commentary. So keep that in mind. I've been ranting for like 10 minutes here. And this is how long he's taking to confirm the match. So I'm staying in this because I just want to see if they're actually going to play. It's casual, so I could leave, but they come in and I'm just crossing my fingers saying, please Jesus, don't let them be a control deck, because if they are this slow and they play control, we could be in trouble. But thankfully they're merfolk, so should be pretty basic here. They shoreline scout to get a tropical island. I say that and then they take 10 seconds deciding to play the land that they knew they had. They run out of Shape of Sanctuary. We'll drop another Triumph here. The Shape of Sanctuary is very bad for us. We don't have a way to kill that, and ultimately we're going to have like some issues here. So with 3 mana up, I decided to go for the Culligan's Command. We're going to make him discard one of their cards, so it's technically neutral, and we'll kill the Shoreline Scout. They discard a Merfolk, so they've got another one in hand probably. They have their 4th land. They have the Mirror Regery into the Commander Speaker. Second Bilbo is not going to do it here, so we pretty much have lost this game. We take a long consideration about what we can do. We can kill the Lord, which prevents their untapping and tapping shenanigans, but it will draw them a card. So what we probably should do is, while we can, Prismari Command, kill the Mirror Regime, make the treasure. We just got to save up mana for a late game if we can. Sorry, don't make a treasure, we'll draw and discard 2. Now we have Vanishing Verse for the Shape of Sanctuary. A little late, but they top deck to Collected Company, so this one's pretty much over, unless we top deck a Supreme Verdict, which we don't. So yeah, there's pretty much no way for us to survive this. We'll move into game 2. Helix is in all of the life gain. We'll go down 1 Call of the Ring and 2 counter spells, because the only thing they have is Company, and while I would love to counter Company, it's not worth having a dead card. We don't have green here, so we're going to get rid of. Right, we'll get rid of the Assemble the Team here. Play a tap land. Now we can run out of Frodo on 2. We do need blue mana though still. They run out of Shoreline Scout to get a tropical island. We'll run out of Frodo. In this matchups with 1/1s, this is going to be a perfect use of Frodo's ability to force them to block. So we're going to use Rip Apart here, kill the Deep Water Wayfinder, swing in with Frodo. His ability forces them to block with the Shoreline Scout, so we keep their board nice and clear. We still need black mana or blue mana. They have a Mirror Readery off the top. We'll play a Triumph here and pass because we can still hold on the Mirror Readery. We can block the Mirror Readery with Frodo's free toughness. They play the Shoreline, start tapping on creatures. They play Nylea's Presence here to give us a blue, but that mana fixing is the most amazing thing in the world to us right now. So we play our land here, so what we can now do is use Prismari command to make the treasure, kill the Mirror Readery, make a treasure, and then we have a choice here. I'm going to choose Gladriel because she can sort out our mana. So we get tempted, we get to look at the top, we find a few things here. So we're going to put this land into play off the top, loot away the basic forest with Frodo here, and then have a Vanishing Verse or whatever they play. Frodo again force them to mandatorily block. They play Master of the Pearl Trident, we draw a Vanishing Verse, so we'll start with the Call of the Ring. Go to combat and attack, see if we can bait something out here. We'll discard the land. I'm baiting out a Mutavault activation if we can. They don't appear to want to though, so they'll go down to 14 and we'll pass. See if they do anything on their end step. End step they bounce Gladriel, so we're just going to Vanishing Verse the Lord while they're tapped out. They play Sevelia, called Merfolk God. We get tempted by the ring, so we're going to draw cards off this. Assemble the team's pretty solid here. Problem is we only have one blue mana, which is awkward. So what I use here, I use Assemble the Team to fix our mana. Not the most adventurous use of it. But we also need black mana, so we need black more than anything for right now. So we can cast the Tyrant Scorn. So we'll shock that in. I consider using Tyrant Scorn here, but I'm not too sure about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with Frodo. Oh no, I don't. Hold back Frodo, sorry. I don't know why I didn't attack there. Guess I'm seeing what our opponent does. They use Master of the Pearl Trident here. Go to combat and attack. Should have probably activated this before combat, so we'll just destroy Silvella. Because she doesn't have Indestructible, because he doesn't have two Merfolk here. He flashed in Brazen Borrow and things. So he could have made her Indestructible if he used the Silvella. The Mutavault. I consider bringing Aragon in because I still really want to play with it, but it just never feels right in these decks. Alright, match 3. And this is the strangest match 3 I've ever had in my life. So we keep a very controversial hand here. I get rid of Triumph because in this matchup we want untapped lands. They mulligan to find a Shaper's Sanctuary, so we pass back. They don't have a blue land. A Merfolk player kept a hand without islands. They pass back to us, we shock in, we'll use Vanishing Verse on the Sanctuary, and they will straight up just concede the game because a Merfolk player didn't know where the sea was. Final match here we have Conjurer 47. Controversial keep, but we'll do it because we can go for either the Assemble the Team or the Frodo if we get hit with a Thoughtseize on turn 1. Opponent hits us with the Inquisition, so as you expected. Takes Frodo, which is interesting. So we're going to use Assemble the Team here. I consider my options. I'm wondering if Call of the Ring will be good as a card advantage over time, but ultimately I just choose to get blue because I realize that we can't cast any of the spells in our hand without blue mana. So we're going to shock that in, play a Galadriel Roar, and see if we can go the distance with that. Opponent taps and plays Treacherous Blessing, so that makes me think that it's the Doom Foretold deck. So we're going to hold up this this counter spell in our hand till the end of days. 4 mana, they play the Archfiend of Dross, which is interesting. Going to use the Prismari command to draw and make a treasure. Throw away 2 lands and a thing. Play a Fabled Passage, attack in here, because they're 90% sure our opponent won't do anything. We'll play the Smeagol. The Bajuka Bargal Graveyard. So this seems to me to be like the donate deck. For those who don't know, it's a deck that tries to win by basically giving you stuff like either the Demonic Pact or the Archfiend of Dross that says you lose the game. We're going to counter the Demonic Pact because of its draw ability and its discard and all the value they could get from it. We find the Flame of Arga, so what we'll do is we'll let our opponent block there to save lethal damage. Then we will flame it to kill it, put Yorion into hand here, pass the turn. They are on 5 life. They foretell a card, probably a board wipe. They're trying to figure out how they can not die here, because they only have 5 spells left here, and if Galadriel hits them, they only have 2 spells. We find a Niv off the top, which is fantastic, so we're going to attack Galadriel here, put him down to 2, we'll play a Niv Mizzet. We hit 2 cards, not the greatest, but it's good enough. The Vanishing Verse can be very impactful. They cycle a land here, they have 2 spells left before they die. They show red, so they are playing Harmless Offering, I can tell from that. They Doomscar, go down to 1 life, and now they're dead, because unless it's an addition, like whatever they cast will require the Treacherous Blessing to drain the life off them. So they're trying to target it to kill it to hope that it doesn't trigger it. As you can see here, they're struggling. They go for Harmless Offering, but unfortunately it gets sacrificed before it's given to us, and it drains them out. Alright, combo deck, so Assassin's Trophy and the Fractures and the Vetoes to stop the donation effects. Ultimately, that's what you need to do here. Take out the Scry. Supreme Verdict's not the greatest. After some consideration, I decided to go down Bilbo's. It's a pain, but obviously what we've got to do here is just pressure our opponent and hope they don't kill us. We keep a slow land hand here. We get rid of this land because our Triome covers our basics here. They start with a Triome, I pick up the wrong land, even though I swear if you look at that I'm clicking on the Triome. They foretell a card, so we're going to shock in here and use a Growth Spiral in the end step. See what they do on 3. They go for Fortsies. I choose to let this resolve because they can't take everything here and I can still get to Growth Spiral either way. In their end step we Growth Spiral, drop the Triome, and we get exactly what they Fortsies because that's how it's meant to work. So we'll pass again here. Opponent seems to be stuck on 3 lands, so they're just going to foretell another card. In their end step we'll draw 2. Again, we don't find lands, which is a bit awkward, so we'll just pass. Shock in their land. They go for the 1 ring, so we're going to counter this. We can't have them having all that card advantage. I decided to run out Galadriel to bait out some removal or interaction, see what they've got. I believe they've foretold 2 board wipes, but I just want to see. They use a kicked Bloodchief first to kill us. I choose to go for the Call of the Ring here, and then pass. Opponent activates Hive of the Eye Tyrant. We're going to Growth Spiral in response, play this land tapped. They swing in. Get rid of one of our lands, or cards, sorry. We've got level 1 on the ring here, so it's time for Niv Mizzet. We only hit 2 again, which is really awkward for us. But Frodo and Galadriel with Call of the Ring is great because it's 2 triggers. They go for a Doomscar, pass the turn. We get it up to level 2, so let's run out our choice here. We use Frodo. He becomes our ring bearer. We'll pay 2 life and draw a card. I don't want to overcommit into this board wipe, so I'm going to see if I can bait them to use it first. Exile out our graveyard here. Also, I want to hold up the Vanishing Verse for this. They go to attack us, and we're going to Tyrant Skull, and sorry, not Vanishing Verse. We get the ring up to level 4, we'll pay 2 life and draw a card. We now have a counter spell for anything Dean they might have. So let's run out Smeagol. Let's steal one of their lands and mill a good chunk of their deck. Go to combat, hit them with Frodo, loot away a Growth Spiral, ding them down to 10, so they are pretty much dead. They go for Divine Purge here. I consider countering, but ultimately the fact that we can just recast these is fine for us. Draw a card, play the land, run out of Frodo, run out of Galadriel, so we'll start ramping out our lands here. 3 lands on top, that's perfect, so let's just start running them into the field, considering these taxed our lands here. And we can hold up a veto if anything truly scary happens. So we'll veto this. Our opponent uses a Demonic Pact here. Right, we'll choose Frodo. We'll put the tap land into play here. We'll draw the land with this. Then we'll draw the Frodo for turn, play the land. Recast Smeagol, because this is what we want to do with our deck. Steal more of their lands. Put more of our lands into the battlefield. I choose not to scry. I'm going to keep the keep us going relatively high here. We'll use Bilbo. Keep going with our triggers, stealing their lands, putting our lands into play. When this package gets going, it's absolutely insane. Again, this isn't the best use of this deck. We're going to use the Vanishing Verse here to kill the Demonic Pact. They're on 1 life here. They can't use 2 of their lands, so we just pass. And ultimately they concede, so it was a good run with the deck in all. Hope you enjoyed it.